Right, so we're doing. So I've tested most of the things here. I've tested the memories, the graphics card, basically everything except the processor and the motherboard. So I believe that the fault is on the processor and processor only, but without a processor that is AM4 to replace this one, I can't really test it. So I got a Reason 3 here that I just received. So I'm gonna put this one on, and if it shows image, it's just gonna prove that it's this processor that is gone. So yeah, let's have a look. So just gonna put this. Okay. Right, so I'm gonna take this one out first. Here we go. So there's no bent pins or broken pins on this one. So it's just tied. Really? So let's try this one now. And it's there. Just close this one up. So let's just turn it on and check it out. It's on here, and let's have a look. Again, it was not giving image. That's what was the original problem, and it should really sort it, hopefully. Is it? Dun-dun. Okay, so we still have the CPU. The CPU light is still coming on. We're still getting no image. So at this point I believe the problem is the actual motherboard. So I got a motherboard as well that just arrived, so we're gonna test it here. We're gonna connect this one with the old processor first, or actually we're gonna put it in the new processor first to make sure that we get image. Once we get image in the it's on. Once we get image with the new processor, then we're gonna try it with the old processor, just to make sure. So I'm just gonna turn this one off. So this is all connected, it's connected, yeah. So yeah, okay. So I'm just gonna put this old one here for the minute, just so we don't bend any pins while we're doing the rest. Okay, so we're just gonna stick one of these memories there. Okay, that's in. So I'm gonna put the new processor first, just to test it and make sure that it's all fully working. Okay. So this processor has graphics integrated, so as the motherboard. So we're just gonna connect it like this, just to see it working really. This one. Yeah, that's all protected, so we're just gonna put it here. And that's it really, we don't really need anything else. So, I'm just thinking if these cables are not gonna reach here. If they're not gonna reach here, okay, so I'm just thinking, because we're gonna have to assemble this into my So basically I'm combining my old test bench with this new equipment that just arrived, and I was gonna do a video about it, but since now we're gonna have to test this, I'll probably just pause it here, assemble it first, and then I'll just test it all, and then continue the video there. So I'll be right back. So the customer decided to go ahead with a repair. So he had a 1700X, which is roughly around 200 pounds. So we went ahead with a similar processor, just the next generation. So this is the Ryzen 7 2700X. And the motherboard, we wanted to buy something that was compatible with everything that was there, and that was just fairly easy enough to literally just take that one out and put this one in, and that's it. So went ahead with the B450 hour M. Again, both sockets are the AM4. It just arrived, so let's just assemble the processor here, put the memories, get it all ready, and then we're just gonna take that one out and put that one in. And hopefully it will all be good, and this can go back to the customer tonight. So let's have a look. We don't need the SATA cables, and that's the screws for the motherboard. That's the M2 screw, not gonna need it. There's our sticker here, the mirror, and we're gonna take this out for now, but we might not need it, or maybe it's all in this one. Check it out quickly. Okay. So this is back. Alright, so that's this. Let's put this out of the way from now. And we're going to open our motherboard. Okay, so on this board we got one M2 slot here, just under this cooler. There's not much to say really. 2 PCI Express slots, 4 for memory, and yeah, it's really a basic motherboard really. Right, so let's open the processor and assemble it here now. We can open this as well, as it's gonna go there. Put this aside for now, using the bin. Okay. So the customer had a different cooler. He had a cooler master, like a universal cooler, that was very flimsy, and it's not really great, and the stock cooler is actually better than that one, so we're going to be installing the stock cooler. Ooh, that's a new model. That's a different one. Ooh, that's a nice one actually. Very nice. Okay, let's just put this here because of the thermal paste for now. And let's put these two. What is this? Okay. So you can actually control this one here. There's the spaces here to put the cables. We'll get to it in a bit. So first things first, clear our desk and let's put the processor first. Right, so as always we got the sticker from Ryzen 7, and we're gonna open this slot here so it's all ready. And let's open it carefully so we don't drop it. The arrow is gonna go in the arrow, and once again the arrow is in this corner. For all the reasons that I've seen so far, the Ryzen logo is always sideways in this direction like this. Right, for some reason this is not entering as it should. which I'm not really liking this. Okay, it might just be me. Okay. Okay, let's close it up. Need to make sure that before you close it that the CPU is proper flat on the socket. So now that it is there, we're gonna check how are we gonna assemble this. So this one seems to be very simple. We just put it there and that's it. So it has a little bit of thermal paste but not enough, so I'm just gonna put another bit just to make sure that it doesn't cause problems in the future. So because it already has a little bit, we're just gonna add a tiny bit there. That's it. Right. I must say that I'm not a big fan of this type of support to put the CPU, just because it slides a lot by the time you actually put it there. It's just a little bit of a nightmare really. But it is what it is, and this is what we have to work with, so we're gonna work with what we have. So I'm gonna hold this so it's out of the way, and we're gonna try to put this side first, which is the one that we have less visibility. So I need to push this that way. We go, now we're flat. There you go, that's hooked on that side. Now I just need to hook it on this one. There we go. It's in place. Now I need to pull it so it closes properly. And yeah, I can tell it's closed properly. Right, I'm gonna connect this to the CPU fan. There. That's done. Next thing, memories, we can just put it here. If there's any M2 slots as well, we can just put it there now. So I'm gonna turn this one around. I'll probably just put it like this. It'll be easier. Right, memories. We have two memories. We want to use the dual channel. So let's see if it says anything here. If not, we need to check the manual. It does 43231. So the one is this one. It's this first one here. It clicked on both sides, and then the 2 is the one in the middle. For most motherboards, the configuration is always the same. It's always one in, one out, one in, one out. Unless you have 4 memories. In that case, you just put them all in. Clicked, clicked. That's it. That's memories done. Alright, so just gonna take this graphics card from here. Right, these cables were assembled very, very tight, so it's just very hard to kind of take it off. Okay, so I'm just gonna put these out of the way for now. We don't really need it in this moment. You can take this Wi-Fi card as well. Okay. Let's move it out of the way as well. Right. So. We have any M2 slot there. No, we don't. So we're just gonna disconnect this one and disconnect this one. This one is very tight. Okay, that looks good. I'm gonna disconnect the audio, the USB 3.0, and the cables from the case, and then all the SATA cables that are from the side. Okay, so now we disconnected everything. We can start removing the screws from the motherboard. So we use this to put the screws in. That's one. That's two. Alright, so I took all the screws, just took it off. We're gonna take the mirror as well. And we're just gonna move it out of the way. Next thing we want to do is check the holes that we have on the motherboard, if we have the corresponding pins where we need it. So I know those three, yes, that's done. That is yes, and then here I'm gonna have to change that one and this one, and that one is fine. Okay, so I just have to change two of them. Right, so try to take them without damaging them. That's gonna be a bit hard, really. It's rotating very, very slowly. Okay, so that's one out, and this one is gonna go. So let's see. So you see, like for example here, you have these three which are the same, and then you have another two. Now this one, there's two configurations. One, there's a hole right next to it on the side, which is not this case. This case is slightly down. So you have the same in the case. You have a hole there, and then you have another one right on the side, and then another one down. So you want the down one and that one. And that's where we're gonna put this one that we just took out. Okay, this one doesn't want to come out. I'm gonna leave it because there's no point ruining it. And you can just add another one. These brands are quite tricky to put in. Okay, so we're gonna put the mirror first. So again, check the direction where it's gonna go. You put it in, make sure it's all proper inside until it clicks. It's done. Yeah, okay. Now when we're gonna put the motherboard, try to hold it from here or from the plastics. Don't try to avoid actually grabbing the, well, either through the memory or on the actual motherboard. Always put it in the diagonal so it just fits right into the mirror. And then basically what you want to look for is that first everything it's like proper straight on the mirror, and second is that your holes match the screws. Most cases you just have to give a little bit of pressure from the side just so it sits perfectly on the screws. In this case it just went straight in, so you don't even have to change anything. So we're just gonna start putting the screws on. Right, because this motherboard is a little bit shorter than the other one, what we're gonna need to do, see these cables are very tight, we're gonna have to loosen them up so they actually reach the motherboard there. And I think that's gonna be really the trickiest part of this job, because they're already all configured and this computer wasn't really assembled by me. So we're gonna have to see how is it all set up and then change it. Please make sure to leave a like on the channel and subscribe so you can follow our new content and new videos coming in. First things first, I'm gonna connect the motherboard, the main connections. I'm gonna see if I can connect this one without having to move it too much in the back. It's just a tricky angle because the cable is already bent for the position that it was before. So I just need to kind of reach it or put it there and turn it somehow. Turning it is the tricky part, really. I'm actually gonna take this fan out just so I can actually see what I'm doing. If you need to take the fan, you just need to take the 4 screws off there, and just be careful because it has, in this case, there's a cable running on the back, so we just need to be careful so we don't pull that cable. Okay, so I'm just gonna move it out of the way and get this cable connected. Much better, but it's still a little bit hard to actually move it there. Okay, it doesn't really reach. We're gonna have to release some pressure from the back of it, so this one is not going to fall, hopefully. Okay. You just hang in there. Right, so this is the cable. This is the cable, so we're just going to pull it from the side here. It's super tight here on this side. So we just need a little tiny bit, just so it just reaches there, and that's it. Still not gonna do the job. I'm gonna have to cut that off. Right. Need to be very careful so we don't damage the cable. Try to. Can't really reach it properly. I'm just trying to apply some pressure on the thing so to see if it just breaks. It doesn't seem like it's gonna. Or okay, possibly. Okay, I can reach it from there without touching the cable. So I'm just cutting the plastic on the metal away from the cable. Because the last thing we want is to cut this cable and then we have to buy or replace the power supply, because this one is not. You can't really replace the cables there. Right, it is quite risky what I'm doing now. Jesus, this cable metal? Okay, now it's out, and now we can actually connect this. So let's turn this around again. Put it flat, so we see what we actually do. Here we go. Still a bit tight, but it's gonna work now, for sure. Done. Perfect, you can put this fan back. So I'm gonna turn this fan. That's fine. Okay. I'm just gonna put the fan in its place. Should I put it a little bit down? I'm just gonna put it slightly down, just so it kind of goes everywhere, not just on the top there. That's secure there. Right, one done, 50 cables to go. Right, so next one is the big one. So we need to somehow release some pressure here so it reaches. Let me see how much. Actually, this one reaches, so we don't really need to move anything. So we can actually just connect it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and connect it there. Here we go. I need it to click, and it clicked. Okay, so next ones we can do, for example, these SATA cables here. The graphics card is gonna reach, so that's not a problem. Let's see what we can just take out of the way straight away. USB 3.0 is just here in this socket, so we're just gonna go ahead and connect it. Make sure you try to do this straight so the pins don't bend. And this one doesn't really want to get in. So I'm just gonna check this is the right place. Yes, it is. Okay, we don't want to apply too much pressure so we don't bend any pins. Okay, that's all done. These little fellows here, where are they stuck? Okay, they're stuck here with this cable. So I'm just gonna cut this off. Tight, like there's a lot of zip ties holding this cable, so I'm gonna have to reroute all of this. So I'm gonna have to cut all of these cable ties to release some of the pressure from here, and here there's more cable ties with the space that we actually need. So I'm gonna try to just pull this one, but no, it's not going anywhere. So I'm gonna have to undo all of this and then do it all over again. So again, just be very careful, double check what you're doing when you're cutting cable. Don't take your eyes out of it, because you don't want to cut the wrong cable. I'm gonna leave it there for now, just so it's all organized. Cables have been in this position for so long that they're just keeping in place without even any support, really. And one left is this one. Oh, we can pull it a little bit now. So let's see if it reaches there already. And very, very close. Just a tiny bit, just so we can make sure that we put them in straight. So okay, Got it. There we go now. Okay, so let's pull them back. And this I hide in here. Okay, right. So for these small cables in most motherboards, but if it doesn't say on the motherboard, you can always check the motherboard manual. Let me just see, where do I have my light? Okay, it's fine. So it says here on the motherboard, it says here, basically I'm gonna take the USB 3.0 just to make sure that it's going there. So it says here for what the cables are, so you just have to actually look on the cables. Okay, so we have reset, and we have this, there's like a mini arrow on one of the sides. Normally the mini arrow is the plus, okay? And you have the motherboard actually saying which side is the plus. So on this case, I'm just trying to see, reset, the plus is to the right side, so we want to be like this, and it's here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and connect it and double check that I connected in the right place. Yeah. And then we have HDD LED, and the plus, it's the gray cable which has the arrow. So the HDD LED, it's here. So gray cable, where is the arrow? Next to the reset. And then we're gonna have the power. So the power is gonna be I'm trying to see, can you just bring it here? That's it. Power is just above the reset, and again the plus is to the left. Is it? Yeah, to the left. Well, the reset was to the right. Okay, so there's not much left to do really. So we're just gonna go back and connect this USB 3.0. Boom. The audio connector, it's saying here front audio, so that's what we want. So we're just gonna might have to release this one, maybe not. No, that worked perfectly. Okay, and now what can we do? We still need to put the SATA connectors, and then the graphics card and the Wi-Fi card, and then we're gonna test it out. So I'm just gonna go ahead and release some of the pressure from the SATA cables. So they're coming from here. This one is released. This one, here we go. That should be enough, really. Let's see. No, it's not. It needs to go higher. So higher, higher. So I'm just releasing the cable, or pulling the cable, and adjusting the zip ties so they keep it in place. Okay, that is enough. Okay, so we're just gonna connect these SATA connectors here. Got two. And this one is gonna go underneath. That's done. And this one, done. And it's all connected, and we're finally ready for the Wi-Fi card and the graphics card. So Wi-Fi card first, just because it's smaller and it's just easier to get out of the way. There's the small slot, the PCI Express slot there. So we're just gonna connect it there, line it up, make sure the metal is hitting the right part, slot it down, and then we're gonna put the screw there just to keep it in place. That's done. Let's just move these antennas out of the way. Okay, and now the graphics card. This one has two slots, so exactly the same thing. It's gonna align the metal there, and then align the slot with the PCI Express slot, and slot it down. That's it. Before we connect it, we're gonna put two screws just to make sure that it doesn't go anywhere. So let's see if I have two matching screws here. Yeah. I'm gonna tie them up in a bit. Okay, so sure that it doesn't run anywhere. Okay, that's not gonna go anywhere. So we're just gonna, final thing, connect the graphics card. So it's gonna go this way, yeah, this way. So the 6-pin first. Done, and now we're gonna connect the 8-pin. And that's done as well. Right. Now it's the moment. Let's test it out. So we're just gonna connect it. These out of the way. Right, so let's turn it on. Let's see what we have. Okay, let's check it out now. Okay, we got lights. Oh, that's actually a very good stock cooling. Look at these RGB lights as well. Forgot to connect. There's a USB cable we can connect for the CPU cooler. We're gonna connect it in a second. Now we just need to make sure that it's all fully working. It's still testing, it's still testing. I can see the LEDs on the motherboard just running, so it's basically testing the components. And we got light. Here we go. Okay, so that's connecting, yeah. So we're gonna shut it down now. I'm just gonna wait until the Windows loads. We can't let you watch the Windows loading because there's customer information. So, but yeah, it connected. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shut it down first. Actually, I'm gonna restart it. I'm gonna get the keyboard out just so I can check what temperature is the CPU running at the moment, just to make sure that we don't have to open it up again. Once we close it, that is. So we need to hit the BIOS key. That is normally the Del or F1 or F2. In this case it's Del. Right, BIOS has been reset. Please reconfigure your BIOS setup items if needed. Okay. So let's see what we have. We have 37 degrees, 36. It's going down, 34. Let's go back to it. Right, so let's see what we have here. That's fine, that's fine. PC health. Okay, it's good enough. Smart fan, see if it shows. Yeah, so got 34 degrees at the moment. So I'm very pleased with that. So what I'm gonna do now, this CPU, or this cooler came basically with these cables. And what these cables do is basically you can control the colors and the speed of the fan through the windows. So we just have to connect one of them for it to work. One is USB 2.0, which is basically this one here. And the other one, it's basically like a RGB, like the same connection you have for the lights, which we have one here. So I'm probably just gonna connect that one just because it's closer, it's less messy. So we're gonna shut it down. Yeah, quit, yes. Okay. Okay, and it's off. Right, so I'm gonna connect this one. Right, we don't need all of this cable just going there. So all I'm gonna do first is connect it here, and then I'm gonna pass it to the back. Or actually, I'll do that first. So there's like a, I showed it in the beginning of the video when we were doing the cooler. There's like two little plastics here that are gonna basically open if I had the nails for it. But because I don't have the nails for it, I'm gonna have to use something to open it. Yeah, open. Hey friend, open. Friend, oh friend. My friend doesn't want to open. Friend. Right, let's try with some pliers. Okay. So we are gonna connect this here. Don't know if you guys can see, but I can barely see too. Should have done this before, clearly. No, it doesn't want to go. Is it the other way around? Or maybe just the wrong hole, really. Let's open this one. Yeah, that's gonna be the one, isn't it? Which now means I have to close that one. Yeah, that's the one. That's connected, so let's close this one. So we closed it there with the plastic. So we're gonna send this cable back and then coming back to connect here. So let's get it up. There's a hole here, so we're just gonna pass it through here. I'm gonna hold it and I'm just gonna connect it so we see how much space do we actually have. So let me just see. Okay, connect it there. This system fan. No, that's not the one I want. Let me put it down. System fan. Wrait CPU. I can connect it to that one, I guess. Yeah, I'm gonna connect it to this one that says LED CPU. Just in case. It's probably gonna do the same job, really. Right, without lights. Again, working on tight spaces is not great. Connected, yes, it's connected. So we're just gonna have to get rid of this cable here. So we're just gonna send it to the back there. And once that's done, we can just close it off and give the good news to the customer that it's all good and ready. So I'm just gonna pull it right here and through here, and this is the space that we have. So what I'm gonna do is, let's see where I can attach it. There's a space there, so I'm just gonna get a zip tie. And we're gonna pass this zip tie through here, if he wants to go there. Okay, and now I'm gonna put it through the middle of this cable, and I'm gonna close the zip tie to apply pressure on the cable, just enough, really. Okay, and let me just double check, everything is connected. Yes, okay. So cut this bit from the zip tie. That's it, and we're gonna start closing this machine that everything is okay before we bring it to the customer. So we're gonna start by closing the back. Okay, and these screws. Make sure it's all good. Yeah, yeah. Okay, now we're gonna put the glass on the side. This side or the other one? Okay. Okay. Now we have the screws here. It's very important you don't lose these screws, otherwise you're gonna have to use really bad screws. Because some of these screws, like these ones, are specific for this case and won't work on other cases. So keep that in mind when you open your computer. And if you're working with a customer computer like me, it's good that you save every single screw from each customer individually, because it's their property. Okay, so that's all closed now. Let's just give it the last test and let's have a look. And that didn't really work. We need to turn it on first, don't we? And that's it, guys. It's all working, all good. Thank you very much for watching. Any questions or any problems, feel free to drop a comment. And yeah, please leave us a like and subscribe to the channel. And until next time, thank you.